No!
Oh!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 330 of the Hoots podcast. It's October 6, 2022. It's a Thursday, pal. Your eyes up to see me is your usual cast and characters here on the Hoots podcast. It's just truly the nefarious brother Adam, aka Joshie Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter at the Hoots podcast. I am alongside this week by the director of all the operations, the video boss, the true wizard of professional wrestling, the one and only Brother Carter. No!
Oh, Josh, I almost take offense with that last comment because you just referred to me as the wizard, and I don't want to do anything to be associated with the most overrated, well, maybe one of the most overrated and useless characters of all time. But yes, I am the director. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, long division, fractions, numerators, denominators, all operations. Your boy's got it covered. He's back. He is ready. He is the video boss. We know video trumps audio, baby, all the time. Your boy is back, and he is glad to be back. It's been a few weeks since I've been, almost a month since I've been live on the podcast That Hoots, and thrilled to be back, to get to talk with everybody and share some things about the world of professional wrestling. So appreciate you letting me taking the week off. Had a rough week last week, a lot of things going on in my mind. Want to give a shout out to all the folks who have sent me some well wishes. I appreciate them very much. And just know that I'm back. I'm ready to go, feeling good, ready to rock and roll, ready to talk about all the things that we need to talk about. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Great to be back. Great to be back.
Do I get a mulligan, though? Because you you do still refer to yourself as Jericho.
I do.
On
Instagram. That's true. I do refer to that. That is true. That's a good point. I can't argue with that. That is a good point.
All right, just wanted to clarify that.
Maybe I should refer to myself as the 9 or something like that, so I can be one up from the Ocho.
We got a treat for you guys, ladies and gentlemen, for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. For the first time since this podcast started, I am pulling out my guitar for the segment this week for a special song for the aforementioned wizard himself. So
I'm also looking forward, Josh, in addition to reviewing Dynamite and previewing the garbage that will be happening on Friday evening on Rampage. We thought it would be great to give a state of AEW. We're now 3 years into this clown show. And so I think it'll be good to discuss where we are, where we've come from, and where it's going. So that's going to be a great discussion a little bit later on.
As always, the Hoots podcast comes to you free of charge every single Thursday, anywhere you get podcasts from, especially here on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It means a lot. We've got a lot of subscribers recently on YouTube, which I've been seeing. It's been nice to see that.
That's great.
Passed over 200, I think, subscribers, so it's pretty cool. Subscribe to the channel. It comes, like I said, we're not charging you any money. It's a fun place for you to escape, clear your head, and hopefully it could make you laugh, give you some life advice along the way. It's not just a professional wrestling podcast, but we have a lot of fun here. And the goal here is always to make you feel like myself or Bert Carter sitting next to you, and we're just having a good chat about life and stuff. So thank you guys for supporting as always. Make sure to support Bert Carter's work at DerekStoughton.com and at WrestlingRumors.net. You can follow my work at ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. As always, because I don't, who knows how long the show will be or whatever, but we do have a lot that we need to get through. Okay, that's a forewarning.
Let's go. Okay? Yeah, let's just jump right in. Absolutely. Let's jump right in.
So we're gonna start out as we usually do with the Back Porch Q&A session. Remember now, Back Porch, not Good Brothers, because we want to give good content, not bad content.
We get as far away from the Good Brothers as possible.
Yeah. So as usually, we start off with the Good Brother Chris Zaletta at X Team Zaletta 24X. Drop the X.
Special shout out to Chris for the kind wishes on Twitter last week. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, man.
Chris is one of the good ones. He says here, what up, Oos? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week.
Great. Always love the good Q&As.
Wide. Take a swig of water for the working man.
Mm-hmm.
Who will be in the World Series? Man.
Well, I'll say this. One of my good friends and mentors I found out recently is a huge Atlanta Braves fan.
Is that right?
So just for, and they won it last year. So just for him, I'm gonna say the Braves. I was watching. We were out last night, and they were showing like the end of the broadcast, because I think we're getting into the wild card series. I believe starts tomorrow. I think, right? So yeah, they were saying, some of the experts were saying the Phillies were going to beat the Braves in the NLC NLDS in the divisional series. So I'm saying that's not going to happen. I got the Braves coming from the National League. Don't know what's going to happen in the American League, but I'm taking the Braves.
Anybody but the Yankees or Dodgers. I'll be honest with you. I just with my work schedule, I haven't been able to really fully pay attention to the MLB. I haven't had much extensive reason to watch my Chicago White Sox this year just become a national embarrassment. And our owner thinks that righting it wrong with Tony La Russa is going to change things 30 years to the point where I wasn't even born yet when he was the original manager of the White Sox. But here we are.
Wait, you mean there's another Tony out there that doesn't know how to run a sports franchise?
There's a lot of them. You would be surprised.
Yeah, right.
Some people think Tony Gonzalez is a good football analyst. Great tight end. I won't take that away from great football player, but just because you play football doesn't make you a good TV personality. I think Mike Greenberg should heed that advice out there.
I will say, though, I think Tony Dungy is a great football. Like, if you watch him on Peacock, he does a great job.
That's the rare exception.
He's the exception, right? Right. He does a great job on Sunday Night Football.
I like underdogs, so I'll give one for my buddy Andrew Baydal, who's a New York Mets fan. So I'll go with, let's do Mets and Mariners, because who in the fuck wants to watch Cleveland in another World Series? Because I don't. As Joe Noah popularly said during the playoffs one year, you like going to Cleveland? You like taking vacations?
You've had a love-hate relationship with Cleveland for years.
Hey, I'm one thing about yours truly is that I'm consistent. It's your fault. Yeah, Ohio's a dump. Let's go to the next question. He says, which NFL coaches are on the hot seat this season?
Well, the first one is Matt Rule. I think he's in trouble. Now, to be fair, I don't know if he's responsible for bringing in Baker Mayfield, because if he is, then he needs to get fired immediately, because they're ruining perhaps one of the best running backs in the league in Christian McCaffrey. But he's been irrelevant for the last few years. Now, he got hurt the last couple of years, but that's not his fault. But yeah, I think Matt Rule is in trouble. He's the first one that comes to mind. I don't know. Who else you got, Josh?
That's a great question. Now it's good to come off blasphemous, and no, I'm not saying this guy should be fired, but as I've been watching his particular team more closely for particular reasons this season, I'd say the most disappointing coach this season so far has been Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Irregardless of how people feel about Mitch Trubisky, if people did not watch the Steelers, did not figure out that Matt Canada is no different from Matt Nagy, I don't know what to tell you. He is showing his hand with Big Ben, who could barely throw a ball down the field last season. So, and for a guy that has a lot of sayings, and I'm a fan of Mike Tomlin. I've always said I've been a big fan of his. I thought he was consistent with his messages and, trying to lead men and stuff like that. But as I've studied the team more recently, because Mitch is on the Steelers this year, and just wanted to follow along on this journey there, more times than not this season, I kind of noticed Mike Tomlin talking out of both sides of his ass. Mitch had a pretty solid game against the Browns on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago. That wasn't his fault. That Nick Chubb ran for fucking 500 yards in the season. That's not his fault.
Chubb's having a monster year. He's having a good season.
All due respect to Derrick Henry, I think Nick Chubb's the best running back in the NFL, but that's just my opinion.
Interesting.
But going back to this, No, I'm not gonna put Mike Tomlin on the hot seat. This Matt Canada on the hot seat. You better be on a fucking hot seat. That's all I'm gonna say. Because like, you watch the Steelers, and it's good enough for Mitch to put them in position to win against the Bengals in overtime, but he gets no credit for that. TJ Watt gets injured, unfortunately, and this all-world defense, highest paid. By the way, it seems to have the highest paid defensive unit in the NFL this year. They get run through by the Patriots, run through by the Browns. They can't get off the field with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, dude, he's a happy. Wilson's a happy man right now. I tell you what.
Here's my thing with Tomlin. He's like, they asked him, "Oh, are you gonna make the switch? Are you gonna make the switch?" He's like, "Oh, I don't feed into pressure. He's like, I'm not seeking comfort. I run into uncomfortable situations, not heeding into the fans chanting, Kenny, Kenny, Kenny." Just because the guy paid at Pitt. I have no issues with Kenny Pickett. I hope he does well. I have no issues with the guy. That's not my issue here with the whole situation with Mitch getting benched. It's just the handling of the team, because I've been following along with them since the season started. And honestly, if Tomlin really needs to take a look in the mirror, if he really thinks that benching Mitch is the only way that's going to save their season, because it's not. They have way more issues than Mitch Trubisky right now. If you just look at their roster as a whole, and there's a lot of overrated players on that roster, like Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool. That's all I would say. But
wow. Hey, listen, Najee Harris hasn't been anything to, ride home about either. He's kind of had a rough year too.
Well, it's hard to do anything when you can't run block to save your life.
You're right.
At some point, I know it's crazy to say that Mike Tomlin's without criticism, but he's just disappointed me. I mean, as far as other people that are on hot seats, I agree with you. Matt Rule's on the list. It's got maybe I can't say Robert Saleh, because any coach that coach suggests is always on a hot seat. It doesn't fucking matter who's on their team; they're always on hot seat. Let's see, Cliff Kingsbury, I still toss up me. I haven't. I know they won last week, but
and when DeAndre Hopkins comes back, that could all change, because you plug him back into the offense, and all of a sudden you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Being Carolina does not get them off the hook in my eyes. No. That's a great question, man.
No. Well, and things will, of course, we're only into week 5 right now. Yeah. So we don't know what's going to happen. There's still a lot of football left to be played. You have one.
I got one. One of the coaches coaching tonight. Frank Reich with the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah. You want to talk about a disappointment. The Colts have been just dreadful this year. I mean, you've got one of the best backs in the league in Jonathan Taylor. He was in most people's fantasy. He's the number 1 overall pick, and he's been kind of a bust this year. Well, I mean, you've got Matt Ryan under center, so there's not a whole lot you can do with that.
Yeah. Do you get what I was saying about Pittsburgh earlier, though? Or
for sure. Yeah, Pittsburgh's been a disappointment, but But then you look at a team like Josh. Is Jacksonville good? Like I can't. I know.
I've been down.
There's nobody
organization.
Hey, listen, there's nobody that hopes that Jacksonville fails more than you and I. But you got to call it what it is. Like, they're playing well. We'll see. I'm waiting for the Dallas Cowboys to go like 13-3 and then lose in the first playoff round, and that's going to be so great.
I know we're in the spread league for our podcast this year. Damn, Yahoo wouldn't let me switch back to the original format, which should be. Shame on them, by the way. Mm-hmm. But we're stuck in a spread league, so it's my first time trying to figure this shit out. But I got a pick for everybody. There's some wild spreads this weekend. I'll just say that right now. As an upset, I'm going with Houston. I'm taking the points with Houston against Jacksonville in Jacksonville this week. I'm just throwing that out there. Upset specials, if you will.
Interesting. I took the Cowboys are, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I hope the Cowboys go 0-17 every year. Like I do. But they've got Micah Parsons, who might be the best defensive player in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
they're underdogs on the road against the Rams. And I'm like, I know the Rams got Cooper Kupp, and I know they've got Cooper Kupp, and that's about Tyler Higbee, who's playing well. But against that defense, I was like, something ain't right. I was like, I think they might have got this one. I think Cowboys are going to win. I think they're going to go and beat the Rams this weekend.
It's all about name value and stuff. Allen Robinson hasn't done shit yet.
But anyways, let's go on to the next question.
Yes, sir. Do you think an Alexa Bliss turn is coming?
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. My favorite Alexa Bliss character so far has been when she was with The Fiend, and I know we're seeing a lot of the White Rabbit stuff. A lot of people are thinking it might be the return of The Fiend this coming weekend, which we'll get to our predictions a little bit later on in the show. But I think it's coming. I think it needs to come. I think Alexa Bliss works best when she's a heel, and she's like the possessed demon heel. So I'm going to say yes.
Man, I'm thinking about the right time when to do it. Everybody says, "Oh, you got to do turns." For me, it's all about timing and when to do it. If there's something where Alexa turns on Bianca and they have a program, I wouldn't have a problem with that, Brett Carter. At the same time, if Alexa wanted to make her way to SmackDown and have something with Liv Morgan, I think that'd be cool too. Who knows? How about this? What about her and Asuka have their own tiff with their own like separate rivalry? You know,
I'm fine with that.
Just because you turn heel doesn't always have to be just because of titles involved in the pictures. So it's all about time from my point of view with that question.
Yep.
Next one for Chris here. He says, will Seth Rollins beat Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title? So for those who don't know, Bobby Lashley will be putting his title on the line against Seth Rollins on Raw this Monday in Brooklyn for the season premiere of Raw. Some big changes, something this week in WWE that we got to talk about this week, but it's up in the air because that is a big match. But let's not forget, we got the Rules of Extreme coming up on Saturday, so it could go either way. For me, I go with the safe choice right now. I'll probably go with Bobby retaining here, but I would not be surprised either if Seth Rollins wins. I'm just curious to see what direction they go with him and Riddle after this pay-per-view on Saturday.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't have a chance to watch Raw this week, unfortunately. So, as you all know, so I'm not sure. But I really think that question is going to depend to see what happens. The easy answer is going to be then Riddle wins this weekend in the pit fight. And then if they want to continue their program going into the end of the year, they can do that. Yeah, so we'll see. But I'm good with it either way. Rollins is the man.
Speaking of Seth Rollins, is this the best version of Seth Rollins we have seen?
Ooh, for me, Josh, I think best is kind of a weird term because it just like everything that Seth Rollins does has been great. When he was the Architect, it was awesome. When he was with the Authority, it was awesome. When he was with the Shield, it was awesome. When he's been this crazy lunatic, it's been great. So I really think best is kind of a relative term. So I don't even know if I can answer that, honestly.
It's hard to say. By the way, if you haven't seen Seth Rollins' interview with Ariel Helwani, you guys should go check that out. It's very, very good. Talks a lot about this particular question as well. I think for me, just from a personal taste point of view, my favorite version of Seth Rollins so far has been the Messiah version of Seth Rollins. I really like that was one of the best parts of the pandemic era, and I thought he did some really good stuff there. And then, of course, you could probably say his best year of his career so far has to be 2019 because he had a lot of good stuff as a babyface going into that early part of 2019 as well. So is this the best version? No. Is it the most well-rounded, more variety-based presentation? I'd probably say yes.
Well, again, it just depends what you value as a fan. You know, what do you like? So, you know, we always try to say in wrestling, oh, they're the best. Oh, they should go back to doing that, or they should do that, or they should do that, you know. And every character evolves differently. except in AEW. They all evolve. They all devolve in.
Yes, exactly.
Except for one, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But
yeah, regression to the team. I think this year's really showed that a lot of people haven't given Seth Rollins the flowers that he deserves because people just had this agenda towards him because he called out CM Punk in an interview, and they just have that weird wrestling Twitter is an odd space. Let's just say that. Next question here,
especially if you're Sammy Guevara.
Oh God, less time on douchey people, the better.
Yeah, right.
Does Sheamus capture the IC title tomorrow night, or will there be shenanigans? It could be shenanigans. One way or the other. I just don't see Sheamus winning the title. I know that Imperium's fighting the Brawling Brutes, which is going to be a barn burner on Saturday, but I don't see it happening. But I'm here for it. You can have Gunther fight Sheamus 100 times and never switch the title, and I'll be fine with that.
I'm not sure. I just remember their match at Clash of the Castle was one of the best matches of the year. That was awesome. So we'll see. Again, here I'm not surprised either way. If Sheamus captures the title, great. But if they want to do a good run with Gunther, I'm okay with that too. So we'll see. But I'm good with it. I'd be good with it either way.
I want everybody to know here on the Hoots podcast that we share the same sentiments as Imperium. The mat is sacred.
Yes. Yes, which is another reason why we can't stand Chris Jericho, but we'll get into that here in just a little bit.
All right. How many more years do you think we have with FTR active? That's a good question. I mean, it's not like these guys have been only wrestling for 5 years. I know they got more like momentum and steam and stuff with their NXT run and stuff, but I don't know. I like to say maybe 5 or 7, maybe. I don't know how old either Cash or Dax are.
I'm looking it up right now.
There's probably been a lot of attrition added to their bodies, and both Dax obviously is a family man, and we all know it. He talks about it in all his promos. Not that's a bad thing or anything like that. I just think it depends on them. If they're a team that they want to wrestle to their 50s and stuff like the Rock and Roll Express, more power to them. But just realistically, I could say maybe 5 or 7 years.
Cash Wheeler is 35 and Dax Harwood is 38. So
yeah,
they probably only got about 5-6 years left in them.
Probably.
But we're going to get, and that's, I want to talk about that, about FTR when we get into our segment, because, oh boy. But yeah, I hope they have 5 or 6 good years left. I hope they make it back to WWE and get one final run in WWE. I think that'd be great. I'd actually be okay if at some point Dax Harwood wants to go on to a singles run, because he's had some. We give credit where credit is due, Josh. Dax Harwood has had some great matches on AEW television in singles competition. So I'd be okay with Dax Harwood as a singles competitor too.
If you guys don't know, there's not only AEW Battle of the Belts and extra stuff on AEW on Friday nights. It's not even just SmackDown on Friday night. You know what else is going on tomorrow night? Bound for Glory.
Oh, is Bound for Glory tomorrow?
Yeah.
We're not doing it on Saturday or Sunday?
The question I've been asking myself for weeks, Brad Carter, yes, Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory, the biggest show of the year, is on a fucking Friday during SmackDown and AEW. I can understand not doing it on Saturday because it's Extreme Rules night, but you don't do it on a Sunday. That's just the reason I'm asking that, because this is the next part of the question. Hey, Josh, who do you think is the winner of the Call Your Shot Gauntlet at Bound for Glory? Oh, man. I'm just going to go with Moose by default. It could be anybody at this point, but I'll go with Moose.
Is he their world champion right now?
No, he's not. Josh Alexander's the world champion.
Gotcha. I've seen a couple of his matches. I think Josh Alexander's good. He's got some talent.
No, he's fantastic. And look, as I'm joking around this, I have been enjoying a lot of the stuff from Impact recently. The shows have been good. Just, again, 2 things. Why the fuck are you having your biggest show of the year on a Friday night on pay-per-view? And even with that point, why are you charging people $40 for it?
What?
It's not worth it. Yeah, right now on Fight, they're charging people $40 to watch this pay-per-view. I had to pay $40 this week to cover this event tomorrow. I'm not even watching SmackDown Live tomorrow because I got to do this pay-per-view. But it's like, come on, man.
That seems a very bad business idea.
It is a bad business idea.
Okay, I just want to make sure because.
But look at the source.
Well, that's true too.
The track record speaks for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, Josh, if I'm being honest, I'm surprised Impact is still in business. I mean, Tony Khan could probably buy that promotion for $10 and run it into the ground like he's done with ROH. But
before you know it, AEW becomes ROH. So forget that. How about this? Where do you rank the Bulls among teams in the East? I'm just gonna go maybe 5 or 6. I think they're a playoff team, but as far as where they rank, Chris, I'm not really sure. Again, the NBA continues to make me become less interested in the sport. I don't care that Pat Beverly's with the Lakers now. Drama's gonna be drama. Everybody thinks that LeBron and Anthony Davis and Westbrook are gonna be the super powerhouse. Who cares? Oh, Draymond Green and Jordan Poole got to a fight at practice yesterday. Who gives a fuck?
I don't care. And I don't care about that. And I don't care about
Kyrie.
I don't care about Kyrie or James Harden or Ben Simmons. I don't care about any of them.
You know what get me excited, Bert Carter, and I'm obviously having bias here. If Giannis became a Bull. That's the only way I'd get interested in the NBA again.
By the way, on a side note, I'm scrolling through Twitter, Josh, real quick. Comments so far, but we're by the way, for our audience, we're recording this during Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
So here are the comments so far. Pat McAfee says this is brutal. Scott Hansen from NFL Network says let's cut to another game. Colts first quarter drives: 3 plays, 8 yards, punt. 4 plays, 24 yards, punt. 3 plays, 1 yard, punt. 3 plays, minus 11 yards, punt.
What's the score right now?
Let's see. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I've got a score. I can look it up real quick. I'm guessing it's 0-0, but let's go on to the next question and I'll
last question for Chris here. He says, outside of the what chants, what are some of the dumbest chants you have heard in wrestling? Good question there. I'll go first. I am not a fan of Fight Forever. I think it's the corniest chant in wrestling. Fight forever. And also, maybe this is just the musician in me, and I like to see different rhythms with different types of chants instead of doing the same shit like this. Can we do a different chant? Can we be more creative than doing something attached with this? Like, why we need the 2 claps in a what's that? 1, 2, 3.
And 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, what's the name of that like sequence? Again,
I don't know. Just 1, 2, 3, and 4 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
By the way, in case anybody's wondering, at the end of the first, it's 3-0 Broncos.
Oh God, that's bowling shoe ugly.
Kind of glad we're recording during the game, there, brother Adam.
I appreciate you doing the steady work for us.
I got you, brother. Yeah.
What about you? Is there any chance for you that?
No. I don't mind the what chance. They can be overused just a little bit. Oh, this is awesome when something's not really awesome.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, okay, that's not awesome. So that's probably it. Just when people saying this is awesome to something that's kind of mediocre at best.
Or mid.
Or mid, yes, exactly, as mid. Yes.
The one they do for Bryan Danielson, you're gonna get your fucking head kicked. I didn't like that when he was doing it in Ring of Honor. I don't like it now. Outside of that, people are gonna have their chance and stuff, but I just really think the Fight Forever stuff is super, super corny.
That's fine.
It really is.
I can tell you one thing: we're never gonna hear a CM Punk chant ever again. I'll tell you that.
Don't get your hopes up. He will be tearing CM Punk at the Royal Rumble.
God. This is why we can't have nice things, folks. All right, let's go on to the next question.
Yes. All right. Next we go to the good brother Mike at Main Event Down in Houston. He says, "Hey Josh, here are some questions for the back porch session this week. Ooh, how about this one? Which group do you think will have more clout / memory in the end? Toxic Attraction or Damage Control?"
Ooh. I'm gonna say Damage Control just because of I know that they're kind of three major stars right now, and don't listen. Toxic Attraction is on the come up. Don't get me wrong; like they're fantastic, but I just think with that star power has been established. Their star power has been established, and we don't quite know what's happening with Toxic Attraction. I'm going to say Damage Control, but I think that could be a great rivalry over the years if they want to do that.
I'm going to go with Toxic Attraction because the group in its nature. Don't get me wrong, I think Damage Control has been doing some good stuff, and I've enjoyed their work. But if you really think about it, that's a group that's more tend to probably turn on each other because all three of them could be singles performers on their own end. When I look at Toxic Attraction and the stuff they've done in NXT, they just mesh well more together as a unit and their purposes for each member in that group. So as far as clout, maybe you could say Damage Control because that's what's hot now and they already got the women's tag titles, but I just think longevity-wise, this crowd could be more Toxic Attraction. But by the way, shout out to Mandy Rose and her waterfall, man. Her waterfall game just gets better and better and better and better.
Tino Sabatelli is a bastard, and he's a lucky man.
A good bastard.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Yeah, don't get me wrong. We like him, but yeah, bastard.
All right. Ooh, how about this one? Care to celebrate the 7 most home runs of all time and be a math denier for Aaron Judge's real record? Or should Roger Maris Jr. go the fuck home? That's kind of harsh. No, look, here's my deal. Aaron Judge is the home run king for the American League. He broke the record for the American League home run for the particular season. Nobody can take that away from him. It's a great moment. I'm also not going to come in here and have this debate about Barry Bonds versus Aaron Judge and steroids this and steroid that, because at the end of the day, we're all hypocrites. The writers that are making money while covering Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds at the prime are all hypocrites because they all benefited covering them, but they're the same people that want to hinder those guys from getting into the Hall of Fame. Us as fans are hypocrites because MLB was not as popular right now as it was back then when those guys were either juicing up or having steroids and stuff like that. That's just a sheer fact.
Of course.
And again, I just think it's hypocritical to take away from Barry Bonds' accomplishments and not act if these baseball players from the 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s were not taking steroids and stuff too. I just think it's an all-around hypocritical issue. By the way, Barry Bonds' name was not in the initial Mitchell report in 2003. And I don't want to take this away from Aaron Judge. I'm not. He owns that AL record and deservedly so. He's had a great season so far. But to have this argument about who's the home run king or who has the most legitimate home runs of all time, it's a stupid argument because we're all hypocrites at the end of the day.
Right.
We are.
I agree. Sports, it's amazing. And you see this all the time in any professional sport. How quickly sports fans are to sweep things under the rug when their team is doing well. Or if, you've done this awful, horrible thing, but you can win us some football games? Oh, okay, that's fine. I mean, Tyreek Hill, Deshaun Watson. I mean, we could go on for years and years. We could go on until the cows come home. But if you do awful things, we don't like, you can help us win some football games. Well, okay, come on in. That's fine. That's fine.
You could deflate footballs, and that's not a problem either. Sorry, Pat, but I had to call a spade a spade.
Mm-hmm. I know. All right.
Next question. He says, I dig last week's intro song, but I just want to know why. What into choosing that unique tune? So for those who missed last week's episode, it's still available for you to go check out. In the audio versions, I like to add just different production elements because with the audio version, I want it to be more presentable if you're like driving somewhere or you're going out of town or on a camping trip or something like that, or if you're on a train and you're going to work or something like that, or just whatever the situation, or even if you're sitting in your back porch, pun intended, and you just want to listen to something, that's the intention of the audio version of the show. So sometimes I'll pick songs that have little tie-ins of what's going on in the particular week, and then other cases like last week, I just picked the song that I really enjoyed playing on a guitar and used it as a throwback Thursday type of song. Kind of like what we're doing today with our song today. I picked a song from the Smashing Pumpkins. So that's what we're doing for this week. So there's no personal ties. I have in the past used other songs to tie into certain stuff that I'm dealing with, but it's not an every week occurrence. It's just whatever fits in my head.
Great.
It fits in the week. So I picked an Aventura song that came out about 11 years ago. This is when I was like in high school. It was crazy to think how fast time has gone by. But it's a song that I was playing on guitar that I really enjoyed playing. And I thought, why not switch up the tune,
I love it. That's great.
I can't find all depressing country ballads every week. I got to switch it up here and there.
I understand. Yeah. That's great.
Country ballads. Hey, you got two musical geeks here. That's our music range is out of our vortexes. It's all over the place.
Right. Absolutely.
Next question. Oh, how about this one? What is the worst customer service interaction you have ever had as a customer?
Oh.
What about you go first here, Ricardo?
Yeah. I won't speak to because usually I'm pretty chill with customer service people because they got to deal with. I've found that if you're generally really nice to customer service people, they take care of you. So I'll say that. Probably I'll give two examples. One has been whenever I've had to contact immigration about my green card, that's been a pain in the ass because they're trying to deal with, and I try to be nice to them. They are very like, and I'm doing a hand like no humor, no, like, yeah. Whenever I talk, shocking, our listeners may find this shocking, but I like talking to people. I'm good with people. I know that's hard to believe. I know.
Right.
But so I always try to laugh and joke with the people and just thank them. It's like, you're welcome, sir. Have a good day. Goodbye. No laugh. It's just, with immigration. So that's one. And then the second one was when my fiance was visiting me here last month. She had to deal with, and this was a rare thing. Please don't get me wrong, because 9 times out of 10, I've had great experiences with Southwest Airlines. They're always a fantastic airline whenever I fly. Great things. But they lost her bag, and it was just a hassle trying to get it back to her. She was on the phone with them for most of the day. She was pissed because she didn't have any of her stuff, and she had to hang out here while I had to do other things because she didn't have any of her clothes or makeup or anything like that. So that was good. I will say, Josh, I have not had good experiences with United. Their customer service has not been very good.
Not good to the director of operations.
No, and I know it's a Chicago-based airline, but
so
I just know that I have not had good experiences with United. Well, United is more Denver, but I know they have a lot of ties in Chicago. But so I would say those ones. So what about you?
I don't have a particular company customer service story, but I could share my stories as my time working at the tattoo shop because I was kind of in that role in a way. I was assistant manager at the shop and overseeing the night shift periods at the tattoo shop during the week because my uncle doesn't like working on weekday nights, and I don't blame him. So I had to be the one to shut the door, set the alarms, do all the grunt work into the shop. And at times I've had to answer phones and set up appointments and a bunch of other shit, answer stupid questions. I shared a couple of them on here before. Not that this is bad, but it's just just think about it in context. And this was during the election. I think I mentioned it to a couple people here, but for those who don't know, one time I got a phone call from a guy, had to be in his 40s or 50s, asking for a Trump tattoo. Now, for full disclosure, as tattoo artists and tattoo shops, you're not precluded to not do certain tattoos. Our rule for the shop has to do with racist ties or Hitler's. Those are like the few exceptions to the case, but more times than not, it's free game. Like I've seen people get. I can't believe I'm saying this. I saw somebody get an Osama bin Laden tattoo.
Ugh.
That's happening.
Wow.
And a lot of times I've had to oversee some of these tattoos. I famously mentioned the Amy Winehouse story here before. It's in our archives if you want to check it out for yourself. But for me, it happened in 2020, and this old guy called in. He's like, "Hey, can I get a Trump tattoo?" I was like, "Yeah." Do you go over the process, tell him about deposits and when you want to come in and blah blah blah. He goes into this tirade. He's like, "Hey, is there any presidential discounts?" Right as I'm talking on the phone, this is a shoot.
What?
Yeah, I forgot the name of this guy, but it's like a middle-aged white guy who wants to get a Trump tattoo, blah blah, telling his story. I'm like, okay, what's going on with you? I don't care about you promoting Trump, right? And he keeps going on and on. And I'm like, okay, let's get to the point of like our work here. Like, you're like wasting my time. You're wasting the artist's time because it's a new thing. Like if we're getting calls, I have to let the artist know about what's going on and get them settled in their process. And it's like he keeps going on and on. I'm like, sir, like we got to get into like, are you gonna make a deposit now? Are you? That's another thing too. Are you coming? Because we've had people call into the shop and like, hey, I want to come and get this tattoo. There's been times I've had to wait to 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning and nobody showed up for people that said they were going to come in for tattoos. That's not a fun experience. That pissed me off a lot of times, especially when nights when I had to come back and do 3 transcripts after that, and I'm up to like 5 o'clock in the morning. And it's not fun. The tattoo industry is very interesting. But what about this story? Literally, with a straight face, he's like, "Hey, is there any presidential discounts, son? I mean, he's our president. I mean, is there something that we could work on?" I'm like, "Excuse me? A presidential discount?" I was like, "Excuse me?" Because it's like at some point you're just like insulting yourself. You're insulting me. You're insulting the shop. You're insulting the artist that's going to do the tattoo. A presidential discount? And what do you think a presidential? I asked him this. What do you think a presidential discount looks like? What does that sound to you? Because I was really about to say, like, do you understand the words that are coming out of your mouth right now? Like, I didn't want to be condescending to him, but I was about to get to that point. And he's like, "What do you mean it's not a presidential discount? The way society is because of him right now. We should acknowledge him. He's helping us during the pandemic." He's like, "Don't you respect our president, son? Are you a Democrat? Is that why you asked me this question?" I'm like, "No, sir. I'm independent. I don't give a shit about either story. I have a job to do here, and you're wasting my fucking time." And we keep going on for 2 more minutes. I'm like, again, I'm going to ask you again. Tell me what you think, in your opinion, what a presidential discount looks like. And he's like, maybe 80% off. And then I hanged up on him right after that.
Wow. 80% off. Wow. You got to admire the balls, I guess, but wow. Okay.
So that's my customer service story for you guys.
You win. Bravo. You win. That wins. Woo.
All right, we got a couple 4 questions here. So
speed round here.
Would you rather have a team that have middle offense of the Bears would ball out with the best offense and have the worst defense like Detroit. He says, I'll take Chicago. That's an interesting question. What about you? Are you for a good balanced team or just all about stats?
Yeah, I mean, I want a good balanced team because if you have a good balanced team, you probably have a better chance to have consistent play over the course of the season. And if you're about stats and your star player gets hurt, then what? But if you have a consistent team, then you have the next guy up and ready to go.
Yes.
So that's just me personally. On a side note, I think the Detroit Lions are the most exciting 1-3 team in football right now. I think the Lions are good, even though the record doesn't show it. I think the Lions are good. Am I wrong? I mean, you've got Swift, you've got Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is starting to get TJ Hawkinson balled last week.
Right. Yeah. This is not a dig towards Jared Goff because I think he's been doing some good stuff. But again, nothing with Detroit changes regardless of who their quarterback is. Them and the Bears are very similar teams. No matter what, Detroit will always have a good offense. They had a good offense with Joey Harrington and I think Dante Culpepper was their quarterback one time. John Kitna, like Matthew Stafford. The issue with Detroit is never their offense. It's always their defense and all-around team. They've always had a good offense. So I don't want to take that away from Jared Goff because that's not an insult to him. But again, are we really surprised? It's the same shit every year. They can't defend anybody if their life depended on it. This is a great question because I think for me, I'm all about balance. And at the end of the day, defense wins championships. I don't care what sport it is. Defense wins championships. So I don't think a team is good just because they average a gazillion points or whatever. I think a lot of people on Get Up, and if you guys haven't catched my drift yet, I think Get Up is the worst TV show sports-wise outside of Undisputed.
Oh, wow.
Get Up is bad. Chris Canty, Bart Scott, Damian Woody, with the exception of Orlovsky, I don't have an issue with him. Dominique Foxworth, Dan Graziano, who's probably the most smug reporter out there as far as talking heads. It's just not a good show. It's not. It's condescending, and they'll make you believe that stats matter more and what looks more appeasing to the eye is more beneficial to the NFL than actually winning and doing things the right way. Marcus Spears is another victim of that. A guy who's all about the stats and nothing else. And this is the argument I always hear about in teams too. The arguments about who you beat. Why are you going to blame a team for what their schedule is?
You got to at fault. They say it all the time.
On your fucking schedule.
You play your schedule. Like it's the games are scheduled a year in advance. You don't know what's going to happen with a team. So it's like, yes, you play your schedule. Correct.
Silly argument. How about this? Can you educate these Yan Club members about
it's a shout out. The Yan Club. Yes. Josh, if we have some new viewers and listeners to the show, can you explain what the Yan Club is?
Now, this is where we know that people actually listen to the show.
Yeah, so that's true.
Yeah, I really do. The Yan Club, a.k.a. You're a Nimrod Club. Those are more representative of the wrestling Twitter bubble and majority of dirt sheets that live in an echo chamber who only think that 5-star wrestling matches, everything, Ring of Honor, New Japan, AEW Racing is sliced bread. Those people that on that Twitter vortex, they can't escape their mind and look outside of the business reasons. They only care about booking and creative. I just say, look at the business Bad Bunny's done for himself. And that tells you everything you need to know.
Add Logan Paul into that now, too. Logan Paul has gotten to a point where he's going to get a match with the head of the table. Like, hello, and I bet it's going to be fine. And I know people are pissed about it, but it's going to be fine. It's because at the end of the day, it's all about the money. And that's going to make money.
Logan Paul's going to be on SmackDown tomorrow night.
There you go.
Bad Bunny is just good for business, and he showed everybody that needs to show him as far as his care and his passion for professional wrestling.
Look at it. Pat McAfee. Look at Pat McAfee. Like when he got involved in the pandemic, starting with the commentary thing, and then he wrestled at War Games, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And now he's I mean, Logan Paul's doing great work. But yeah, so absolutely.
Speaking of Pat McAfee, this is the last question for Mike here. He says, what is the worst thing you think of Pat McAfee trying in sports or WWE? Does he have a weakness? I don't know if he has a particular weakness outside of his ADD way he carries himself during the show sometimes. Hey, it's not like I know that's a real disease, ADHD. I'm not going to take that one. That's not a knock on it, but it is an assessment. Like his mind goes to a million fucking directions while interviews going on. Like I watch him sometimes when he interviews that clown, that ayahuasca clown, Aaron Rodgers, and he's like, he can't keep his focus on anything, man. It's like I'm not saying it's bad, but it is true. Like you watch the show, like, his mind goes to a million fucking places. But I don't think he has a weakness. You know, some people are just naturally get to be entertaining like that, and I'm a fan of his. I think he has the best sports talk show out there today, and I'm a big fan of his. I don't think he has a particular weakness, but that dude he can't keep focus for shit.
No, absolutely not. No, I agree with you, Josh. I think Pat McAfee is incredible. What he's done, the brand, he always says it's for the brand, right?
Correct.
And the brand he's built, the name he's made for himself is just unbelievable. Everything he does turns to gold. He's great. If you haven't had a chance to watch him on College Game Day, he's fantastic. I think that their ESPN has struck a deal with him to I think this is going to be Lee Corso's final year on College Game Day, and they're striking a deal to get Pat McAfee to kind of replace him eventually. And Corso's been incredible for the last 25 years. But so that's where I think that they're heading with that. But so if you don't get a chance to watch him on College Game Day, he's fantastic. But yeah, I don't think Pat McAfee has a weakness either. I think he's a natural born entertainer.
Not so fast.
By the way, if anybody cares, with 3:48 left to go, it is now 6-0 Broncos.
Oh, fuck. Is this the second quarter?
Yes.
Oh, my God. I know my Bears are playing the Commanders next week, but oh, my God. That's just bad football, Burke. I don't know what else to tell you.
I hope I didn't. I'm one of my fantasy teams. I think I have Michael Pittman. I hope I didn't start him.
Yeah.
Let's find out. I don't think I did. Damn it. I did sit on one of my teams. I started Michael Pittman.
Speaking of College Game Day, Kirk Herbstreit was on the Pat McAfee show today and had a little conversation with one Lou Holtz. You want to hear this really quick?
Sure.
Let's see.
Can I get some Lou Holtz just for fun to kick this weekend off right?
Well, listen, Kirk, you know I love you. You guys are going to Kansas this weekend. I enjoy it because you'll probably never fucking go back.
Wow, they're building something.
Well, they're building something, but guess what happens? You go to a place like that, you build something, and then he's going to get the fuck out of there as soon as he can. He's going to go to Nebraska. He's going to go to an SEC school. But, hey, he may go to Notre Dame. I'm still not sold on Marcus Freeman. I love you, pal, but we're not fucking, striking up the band for beating North Carolina, okay? So we'll see what they do when they play USC down the road. But, Kirk, love you very much. I wish you would have played quarterback for me. I know you're an Ohio guy. You always had dreams and aspirations to go into Ohio State. That's good and grand, but you would have been a great Golden Dover, buddy. I'll tell you that much.
It's so good.
Shout out to Ty Smith and shout out to you, Mike, for some great questions this week.
That's
we
awesome.
got a couple
Thanks,
more
Mike.
questions left here for the Back Porch Q&A.
All right.
We wrap up always with Nate the Great.
I love Nate.
Yes, at Psycho Nagiri. He says here, Creed brothers get called up anytime soon. I don't know, man. There's an interesting scenario with them right now. They're in a rush here with a guy that used to be part of their faction named David Kemp. Julius Creed is fighting Damon Kemp on NXT Halloween Havoc. And basically the gist of this is if Damon Kemp wins, Brutus Creed, his brother, will have to leave. NXT. So it's up there. I like them. They're good wrestlers. Obviously, they're collegiate wrestlers from Duke. They're like highly crowned champions in the ACC, but haven't really been messing with them like personality wise. Like, and a lot of the matches are very repetitive with the waistline styles and grappling and shit. But I like it. I just don't know if they're ready for that yet to come up. And I'd probably say anytime maybe after WrestleMania next year, but not anytime soon.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I haven't had a chance to watch much of the Creed brothers, but I've heard good things, and I'm sure whenever they come up, they'll be ready to go, and it'll be great.
Yes. How about this one? How would you like to see Karrion Kross showcase till WrestleMania?
Ooh. Yeah, that's tough. I'm looking forward to his match with Drew McIntyre. I think that's going to be great. If they wanted to, they could probably extend that into November and December, and I think it would be okay. If it's not gonna be Cody, could Kross win the Rumble and challenge the big dog?
Possibly. Is it? I'm really curious if we get towards by WrestleMania, is Roman still holding both titles? That's the question in my head right now.
Because right now, Bobby Lashley is kind of the man on Raw because he's got the only real title on Raw.
Correct. And that's the thing. If they get one title off of Roman, do they change the design of both belts now? There's a lot of things still up in the air as far as what things are going to happen with Triple H. But as far as Kross is concerned, I think he could have a good grudge feud here with McIntyre. Keep it going for a couple of months, see where it goes from there. If it's something where he wants to feud with somebody like Sheamus, with Sheamus being the baby face now, I think that'd be cool. Kross has history with Santos Escobar. I think he's coming to the main roster soon with Legado del Fantasma. I think that'd be pretty cool. You got the female components, by the way, good waterfall components too. You got Elektra Lopez and Scarlett. You can't go wrong either way there.
Well, and we don't know what's going to happen with. I don't know if they're planning to do a draft, but if they want to send him over to Raw, he could do something with Finn Balor because they have some history in NXT. So I don't know.
It depends. I think for me, if you want to do something big with Kross at WrestleMania, I think you have him either win the IC title from Gunther or you have him fight Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I like that. That would be cool because if Wyatt's coming back, he's coming back as a face for sure, I would think.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and we'll get into our predictions about the show a little bit later. It is currently still 6-0 Broncos. We're almost at the half.
Thank God we have the Hoots podcast here to entertain you.
Right. So now, since our friends, I know we're recording right now, but all the more reason to turn into the live version because now you don't have to watch Thursday Night Football.
Correct. Man, how about that? Who would think? By the way, Mitch has been playing better than Matt Ryan, but somehow he's on the bench. Come on, Tomlin. Don't let the crowd dictate what you do.
Right.
Oh, I don't seek comfort. Yeah, you do, because you just listen to the freaking fans instead of actually paying attention to your football team. But
who are you? Tony Khan?
That's a good question. All right, last question for the Q&A here. You ready for this, Limerick card?
Let's do it.
All right. He says, what How I Met Your Mother character, minor or major, do you relate to the most?
Oh, mine's easy. It's Ted Mosby. I've been told I'm that's easy. Everyone's told me I'm like Ted Mosby with puns, hopeless romantic. Oh, yeah. I'm definitely the Ted Mosby. I've been told that many times.
I'll be curious to hear from you. Who do you think I am from How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah, I can see a little Marshall vibes from you.
Marshall,
yeah, kind of chill, down to earth, down to earth, dude. I would say you're most like Marshall.
I was gonna say that too, actually. Yes, I can see myself being as Marshall. I don't know if I'll be as over top as him and Lily with their Scrabble and like the
probably not, but
some of the couples, but I can see where you come from with that. Marshall has a good wit to him too.
Sure. I like
it. Yeah, do I see myself as a lawyer though?
Yeah, but you could be like but you're an environmentalist, so you're the nice one, That's right. I like it.
I kind of bleed towards more of Ted and Marshall from my point of view. If I was in high school where I really did not care what people thought about me during that time period, I'd probably say I'm more like Barney during that time period.
I'm trying to think of other characters. Like I like maybe a Kevin. I liked Kevin when he was with Robin. I like that character. I could see us relating to that character.
Yeah, I can see that. Are you talking about the guy from Harold and Kumar?
Yeah.
I can see that. I'm definitely not the captain.
No, you are not the captain.
I'm not the captain. Boats. They did the whole ad and everything. I love that. And it's there was like a part where I guess Ted hooked up with boats, and Robin got upset at it because she's like getting more attention to her than her job. And then they do a hit with her right on the TV. She's like, in local news, a local architect gets punched in the throat. Boom! That was tremendous.
Oh, that's funny. Well, Robin knows she's got a drinking game, the drinking game.
Oh yeah, that's correct. But Marshall, not my bad. Ted and Barney just laughing their ass off with the Beaver song with Alan Thicke.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I can.
Hey kids, how's your beaver?
That's tremendous.
Oh, that's great. Good question, Nate. Good job.
That's a great one, Nate. I definitely say in a romantic sense, I'm more like Ted, especially with the connection stuff like this. Major.
Oh, yeah.
General.
Major baggage. Yeah.
A tremendous edition of the Back Porch Q&A session.
Indeed.
As always, you can send us questions to the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. And we always appreciate the major contributions to the segment. Major contributions. All right. Let's get into the next part of the podcast. By the way, my main TV crush of all time is Robin Scherbatsky.
Yes.
The hottest. Kobe Sloan is the hottest actress I've ever seen in my life. All right, let's get into this next part of the show here. It's time for This Week in WWE. Hey, it's good that we can talk about a well-organized, professionally run wrestling company, right? Carter.
Those are the things that I really appreciate, Josh, that we can talk about wholesome, professional wrestling and the goodness that comes from everything that happens. I really enjoy that. And we get to do that this week. So I'm going to let you lead the charge on this since I didn't have a chance to watch much programming this week. And then we'll obviously get into our predictions for Extreme Rules this weekend. So the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, that'll be our last part of this segment here. We'll get to those picks. We start off with SmackDown this past Friday. It was in Winnipeg as WWE's been on a big Canadian tour over the last couple of weeks or so.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if they got themselves some Tim Hortons.
You gotta get those Timmys, man. That stuff is so good.
Yeah.
Oof, that coffee is excellent.
Something I need to get off my bucket list is go to Canada.
Come up. It's a fun place. You're pretty close.
I am close. Yes, that's true. What I really did for SmackDown this past week is just like I felt, especially on Raw too, is that everything going to Extreme Rules had a purpose. Like on Raw, SmackDown, it felt like the future Top Bomb just took another step forward. Like I didn't really see too much filler stuff this week, Bert Carter. To be honest with you, another awesome like I wouldn't say vignette, but a really good promo from Cross. It's kind of long. I'm not going to play it for you guys, but if you haven't seen Cross's promo for SmackDown this week, I thought it was pretty good. I'm really excited for that match with him and McIntyre. That should be good. Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa against Ricochet and Riddick Moss. Very good match. Solo Sikoa's doing some good stuff, man. Not only that match, Solo Sikoa had a good match with Angelo Dawkins on Raw this past Monday night as well. So Sikoa's putting in the good work and do some good stuff on TV. I do want to play this though, because we're very big on context clues and substance and stuff like that. I would like to say that Jey Uso is in the Hall of Fame of player haters. I think Buck Nasty and Silky Johnson are all jealous of Jey Uso. But I do want to play this, and I think there's some really good stuff here with Jey Uso, Sami Zayn. So let's hear this.
That's how you do it, Oos. That's how you looked amazing. You looked amazing. No, respect. Wait till Roman. Roman probably watched all of that. I'm going to text him right now. Jay, what are you doing here?
Don't worry about what I'm doing here, Oos. Came here to make sure my little brother good, that's all.
I'd say he's good. I'd say he's more than good. Did you watch what just happened? You got the dub, Oos? Yeah. Big dub.
Oh. Be a minute. Hey, I see right through you. You got everybody and their mama out here fool, including my family, but I see right through you, Sami Zayn. It's your one shot. If you even think about putting the family in jeopardy, I will get you.
You know, maybe you should take it up with Roman. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to get in our locker room.
Tremendous. What do you think about that?
Oh, dude. What can you say about Sami Zayn, man? He is just fantastic. And everything with the honorary Oos thing is so great. And when the split finally does happen, we all know what's coming. And this is going to lead to babyface turn for Sammy. But is there anything that Sami Zayn does that's bad?
No. It's
great. I mean, everyone in the bloodline is phenomenal. Sami Zayn's incredible. I love it. I can't wait to see where this goes going forward. I think it's just terrific. I do have a question though. Well, actually, keep going, and then when we're done, I do have a question. But go ahead.
First of all, I want to give my thoughts and prayers to everybody that's been dealing with Hurricane Ian.
Yep.
A lot of reasons for this SmackDown. You had a lot of people from Raw show up. A lot of talents, unfortunately, were stuck to the tent to the hurricane. So our thoughts go out to them. I also like to mention this too. As we recorded this earlier today, we found out that Sarah Lee, who was a former Tough Enough winner, passed away unfortunately at the age of 30 today. Still kind of letting that news like sit in, and it's hard to really like think about it. It's just really unfortunate for a wonderful, beautiful young lady like that to pass away at the age of 30 with 3 kids. It's just it really brought me down a little bit earlier to see that news. I hate seeing stuff like that, especially future is bright for her, and I enjoyed the stuff that she did on Tough Enough. And that news really brought me down earlier today. So I want to give my thoughts to Wesley Blake and his family, because that's really, really sad news.
Absolutely. That's so sad. I mean, 30 years old, man. Like, life is just getting started at that point, you know?
Yeah, tomorrow's not guaranteed. That's a very important reminder.
Absolutely.
So going back to SmackDown, a couple other things that really happened. Drew McIntyre got into brouhaha, if you will, with Austin Theory because Austin Theory can't keep his mouth shut. So they have a match, and they ended up getting to a brawl, which led to the main event being Drew McIntyre, Johnny Gargano, and Kevin Owens against Theory and the Alpha Academy. Very, very good match to close out SmackDown. So very good stuff there. Also, did want to mention Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey trying to tear each other's heads off. Freaking Liv Morgan was trying to hit Ronda Rousey with a baseball bat.
Hello.
What happened there?
No, sorry. I was just plugging in my computer. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if they'll go extreme, but trying to hit each other with a baseball bat.
Has Liv Morgan been stepping up her game recently?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up because I didn't want to spend too much time on this, but there's sometimes you just need to get stuff on your chest.
Yeah, go ahead.
Liv Morgan is another case study of stop letting Twitter dictate what you do with pushes and who should and who deserves and of who deserves to be a champion. Because this is another case story of fickle wrestling fans. What did we hear all the beginning of this year, all the way through the summer, was that Liv Morgan needed to become the SmackDown Women's Champion, right?
Right.
She needed to become a champion, right? What if I've heard ever since she became champion at Money in the Bank? Oh, it's a cold rain. They need to drop it. I don't buy into Liv. So you bought into her all this year, but now you don't because she wins the champion. And this is no different from Kofi Kingston to Daniel Bryan or whoever Twitter wants to prop him as a flavor of the month. You do it to every single performer. You even did it to Drew McIntyre too. I didn't forget because people turn on Drew McIntyre as well. Stop. If you're going to be consistent and say that you want certain people to be in positions, rock with them when they get into those positions. But no, because we live in a Twitter bubble where the only thing that matters is booking. So if one decision doesn't go into their fancy booking ways, that means the character's ruined. Okay, I agree with you. Would I want to have Liv be in a position where she taps out, but the referee didn't see it and all that? So I said no. But to say that she's a cold champion, she don't deserve to be champion, she's this and that, I can't buy into her. You're full of shit because you're the same people marking out for her at Money in the Bank. So one decision is going to wipe away all your feelings for Liv Morgan at that point. You're hypocrites.
Well, MVP said it best. The worst wrestling fans are the ones that hate wrestling the most.
Correct.
Yeah, the people that hate wrestling the most are wrestling fans. Like, I
hate that stuff, Mark. I
do too.
Because all year, like, Liv Morgan better become the champion. She becomes the champion, and now you want to have her just lose the title just like that.
They turned on her in 2 weeks, Josh. Like 2 weeks into her reign, they were booing her or whatever. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it, man. And listen, all the best to Liv Morgan. I hope that she does well. She's been doing, from what I remember, she's been doing great work. Yeah. We'll see what happens at Extreme Rules, but I don't know, man. I don't get it. Anything else from SmackDown?
Let's get to Raw really quick.
Okay, can I ask one question really quick?
Go ahead.
So there was I guess they tried to do a fireball spot. Was it a couple weeks ago? Yeah. Was it as bad as everyone said it was?
It was just bad timing. I thought the intention of it would have worked well. It's just an unfortunate timing issue that happens sometimes. I felt bad for Scarlett because she's been a great asset. She's good. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we put over her waterfall stuff, but as far as her character and how she carries herself, like, she's really good at what she does as a performer. I hated that for her to happen, go out like that. They're just trying to go for old school fireball angle, and it's just a misfire.
Gotcha. So, was it as bad as Hogan and Warrior?
No, it wasn't worse as the Shockmaster. or remember the WCW pay-per-view with Sting and DDP that went off the air, and we didn't see the conclusion of the match. Was that the right match, Sting and DDP, or somebody else?
DDP and Goldberg. It was Goldberg.
DP Goldberg.
Yeah, that's the same pay-per-view where they tried to do a fireball spot and Hogan missed and went, and then they had to have Horace come out and hit Warrior with a stop sign to get the
brutal.
Hey, that's AEW's role model. So there you go. Yeah. Oh God.
Exploding barbed wire.
Oh my.
No, my bad. Sparkling barbed wire death match. The Toys R Us death match.
Oh my God.
All right, let's get to Raw real quick so we can get these picks in. How about this for Dominic Mysterio? Let's hear this a little bit.
All right.
I'll tell you exactly who my daddy is, and it's not Rey Mysterio. Tell him, Dom. Jefe. I hate you. I hate you so much. You lied to me my entire life. And I have a new family now. Thanks to the Judgment Day.
Typical millennials hating their fathers. The booze.
I give that a C+. Like that's okay.
What are you expecting from the guy? Like, come on.
I know, but listen, Josh. I like Dominic Mysterio. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think it's. By the way, the memes of him and Rhea Ripley on the internet are outstanding. That's fantastic. So that was okay. I will say though, I watched a couple clips just like of Dominic. He's getting some major heat. Like he's getting some Vicky Guerrero type heat. I'm digging it. Like that's great. That's really good. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I just think he could have gone more for that. You know, like I think he could have dive like, you know, it's like I hate you, but he didn't get into why. So I think he just could have gone a little deeper with that, you know.
Right.
So that's just why I gave it a C+.
No, I get it. By the way, I just went on Twitter so I can see what you're saying about everybody to say this is a terrible game.
It is currently it's halftime. Oh, it's 6-3 now for the Pro. I'm glad I didn't.
Can we just delete Thursday Night Football? Like, I feel bad for Al Michaels. He's not NBC. He has to call this shit. Like, come on. All right.
I will say though, there was one good game. The Chiefs Chargers had a pretty good Thursday Night Football game. It was like week 2 or might have been week 1. I don't know.
Yeah, that was decent. Here's the matches that stood out to me for Raw this week. Judgment Day against Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles. I thought that was good. AJ Styles shoved Rey Mysterio out of frustration because Rey continues to be distracted by Rhea and Dom. I thought it was a pretty good match here with Bobby Lashley and Mustafa Ali. I thought that was good. We had Dexter Lumis still going after the Miz. I'm surprised they're not having a match on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get some announcement about them fighting a Crown Jewel or something. I'm not really sure. But we had Seth Rollins and Riddle have their confrontation. Seth Rollins still going rogue and mentioning Matt Riddle's kids and stuff like that. And then Riddle's like, when was the last time you were champion? And he's like, he brings up that Roman choked him out at the Royal Rumble and that Becky main evented WrestleMania and he didn't. And he's like, Seth is always good at coming in second place. I thought that was interesting. And then we found out over the weekend that Daniel Cormier will be the special guest referee for this fight pit match. Now, as many of you know, I am not an MMA consumer. I don't watch their events, but Brett Carter is an MMA advocate. So what's your thoughts on this announcement?
It's fine. I mean, again, another crossover between MMA and WWE. And I think Daniel Cormier is a legend in the sport. He's in UFC Hall of Fame. So like he's a big, for those of you who don't know, he is a big name in the world of combat sports. So having him come in, like he's a legitimate tough guy. Like he's a guy that could if he'll call it down the middle, pal, kind of thing. So I don't have a problem with it at all. I always like MMA and WWE crossovers, so I have no problem with it at all. I'm looking forward to this match. I think this is going to be a war, and it's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. But no, I think it's a great idea.
All right. Really quick, got to see the beautiful Candice Ray on our screens again.
Yes. I'm so happy, dude. I'm so happy she's back. That's great. That's terrific. Another person I'm glad held out and did not sign with AEW because I know there's some folks over on that other channel that are kicking themselves in the ass right now for being under contract with Tony Khan for 4 years.
You want to see a good TV match? I always talk about maximizing your TV time.
Yep.
Go check out Braun Strowman and Chad Gable for Raw this week.
All right, I'll do that
stuff there. And then obviously we still have this thing going on with Bianca Belair and Bayley. They'll be fighting in the first. I found this out. This is the first women's title ladder match. In WWE history coming up on Saturday. So I thought that was interesting. Damage Control got a lot of time on TV this past Monday. So let's not say they're not putting any effort into this group because they're getting a lot of TV time and a lot of main events recently. So that was Raw. I thought SmackDown this past week was better than Raw, but all in all, like I said, this is just a step forward type of week, and I'm curious to see what happens on SmackDown tomorrow night. By the way, can we stop calling Raw the week of pay-per-views the go-home show? Don't we know by now that SmackDown is actually the last show before the pay-per-view, and Fox has more priority than USA at this point? Can we stop saying the Raw before pay-per-views the go-home show? Is that just me?
We're still calling them pay-per-views, but they're now premium live events. So it's just going to take some time to get used to the new lingo, and it's fine. It's all good.
All right, before we get to the predictions, there was an announcement that came out today. I don't know if you saw this or not, but we got new changes at the commentary.
I did see this. Yes, I do want to talk about this a little bit, Josh. Would you like to read the new commentary teams?
Yes. So start off with Raw. We have Kevin Patrick replacing Jimmy Smith, and it'll be a two-man booth on both Raw and SmackDown going forward, as Kevin Patrick will be with JBL 2.0, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton, and the returning Kathy Kelly will be coming in to do backstage interviews. By the way, shout out to Kathy Kelly and her waterfall.
Yes, great to have Kathy Kelly back. That's awesome.
Then we go into SmackDown. Michael Cole will be joined by Wade Barrett.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. That's great. I love it.
So it'll be Cole and Barrett. Still same backstage interview crew as always, Kayla Braxton and the beautiful Megan Morant. Also, we found out for NXT, how about this, Brother Carter? Vic Joseph joined by Booker T.
That's great. I like it. Do we know what's happening with Jimmy Smith? Is he just being released, or?
Yeah, he's gone. He mentioned it on Twitter today that he's done with WWE.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was volunteered or if he was future endeavored. I don't know.
I don't know. I felt that was something that was coming out soon because, again, and I mentioned you're here when I was mentioning this before. Things got weird and stuff like Corey Graves would not let Jimmy Smith do his job. And you can tell us listening to broadcasts it's like, okay, the dude's cutting me off every 15, 20 seconds. And I could just tell that wasn't going to go well. And then I saw something from the other day where Jimmy Smith was ripping Daniel Cormier's promo on his MMA show from Raw this week. So I was like, that's not a good sign there.
Oh, that's true. I will say I'm going to miss Graves and Saxton because that's anytime Graves makes fun of Saxton, it's great. I just hope that there's a time where Saxton will go out and take a stunner because Byron Saxton always deserves to take a stunner.
Correct. And for those wondering, Pat McAfee will be back once the college game day is over this season.
Yep. That's great. Yeah, I'm digging it. Oh, you mean, Josh, you can have a successful commentary booth with only 2 people and not 4?
Yeah. You mean to tell me that we don't need William Regal out multiple times on the show? In Ring of Honor matches? We'll get to that a little later. All right, Brett Carter, I'm going to give the floor to you now because
all right,
let's make some predictions. No,
yes, as is tradition here on the Hoots podcast, the only Brother Carter leads us through our prediction segments as we have the rules that are extreme this weekend. The 2022 edition, not the horror show that is Extreme Rules, but just Extreme Rules this weekend. So far, and we're recording this on a Thursday. As of right now, and I'm reading off WWE.com, there are 6 matches currently listed. More may be added tomorrow night on SmackDown. We'll see. There always could be a kickoff show. There always could be some surprise stuff. We'll see. But I'm going to go in reverse order as they are listed on WWE.com. And we're going to start with the 6-man tag team, good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. The Brawling Brutes are taking on Imperium in a nice old-fashioned. We've seen a Donnybrook recently with Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, and this is kind of the more amped-up version with this. So, Josh, who do you like in this match?
You're talking about the 6-man, right?
Yeah, 6-man, yes.
I'm going to go with Imperium. I think the Brawling Brutes won the first one, that I'm not mistaken. They had a 6-man tag that was awesome a couple weeks ago. Yeah. This could be a barn burner. I'm looking forward to it. And if you guys remember Imperium having a barn burner with Undisputed Era in the hardcore match, I think it was the Worlds Collide thing in 2020. Yeah, this one's gonna be awesome. But I'm gonna go with Imperium because again, what's sacred?
The ring, the mat. The mat is sacred. Of the ring general. Yes, I'm going to take Imperium as well, Josh. I think that they're going to keep this feud going into the fall. There's no reason not to. I mean, it's if it's working, just let them beat the hell out of each other. Why not? Right? It works. So this is great. But yeah, I'm going to take Imperium as well. If this is the first match, Josh, this might steal the show. I think this is going to be fantastic. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be great. Next, in another getting pretty personal feud here, an I Quit match. The returning Edge takes on the leader of Judgment Day, Finn Balor. This one's going to be tough. I'm going to take Edge to win this one, actually. I think him coming back, this is a great opportunity for him to come back and maybe snap some sense into Finn Balor. We're hearing reports that the new brass is very high on Finn Balor, and they've got really big plans for him in the future. So I think that this is a way for Edge to come back and kill his creation, the Judgment Day. So I'm going to take Edge to win the I Quit match. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with Finn Balor here. I think the only scenario here I see that works with Finn Balor winning is if Beth Phoenix gets involved, and that's the only way Edge will say I quit. Edge had a promo this week on Raw that I thought was pretty good, where you say that you can't physically make me quit. That doesn't mean anything emotionally or mentally, though. Hey, I'm just throwing it out there. If Beth Phoenix gets involved in this match, that'll force him to quit because Edge was talking about his family and stuff like that too. Who knows? Maybe Beth throws in a towel.
That's just what I was about to say. Is maybe Beth is the one that causes Edge to quit, and then you have a rift there, and they can keep that program with Mysterio going if they wanted to. But I think that's going to be a great match. Great to see Edge back as well. Next up, probably the match I'm looking forward to the most. We've got a strap match, a good old-fashioned strap match. Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre. I've been high on Karrion Kross for a long time. I think he was amazing in NXT. I've said before, he never had a chance to really do what he could do because of the pandemic. You know, he debuted essentially 6 weeks into the pandemic, so there wasn't a whole lot you could do with him. So who do you got in this match, Josh?
I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre here. I'm in this scenario here where with Kross, him losing right now does not affect his character. There's only a way he can go up from the Mad Max stuff that he was doing beforehand. Now, I'm in this scenario where this is one of the matches where I don't care if either guy wins. One thing I know is for certain is that Drew McIntyre does not give out bad matches. This could be a physical physical match. If you look at the likes of Gunther and Sheamus, this could be a physical match. I'm excited for Cross. I really have from a big fan of his. I'm just in a scenario right now, Brett Carter, where I don't care if either guy wins, but if I had to set the goal at the top of my head, I'll go with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I'm with you in the fact that both guys are untouchable. Like, they're so good. And again, there's another guy I'm so glad did not sign with eight. Can you imagine Killer Cross in AEW? Like, how he would be wasted? It'd be awful. Now, granted, like when he got to the main roster, Vince screwed him up royally. Like, Vince deserves a slap on the wrist for what he did to Karrion Kross, no doubt about it. Yeah. That being said, I'm taking Karrion Kross to win this. I think that he's got great momentum right now, and you don't want to ruin that momentum going into the fall season. Now, again, he wouldn't be ruined because he's just such a great character. But I think with the momentum that Karrion Kross is going right now, I think he needs to get the win. He needs the win more than Drew McIntyre does. So I'm taking Karrion Kross.
And this will be one of those scenarios where you look at what happens on SmackDown beforehand. I always think of these clues, like where if somebody looks strong, like how Bayley was posing on the ladders on Raw Monday, I think it's probably leading into my decision for that match. So if Drew McIntyre lays out Cross on SmackDown tomorrow, let's say they have a brawl or something, I can see that happening. We'll have to see how that goes from there. But curious to see how that goes. What's the next match?
Next match on the card is Inside the Fight Pit with special guest referee UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier. Seth freaking Rollins going up against Matt Riddle. This should be great. This has been tremendous work. Again, I know it's a small thing and people are like, okay, Derek, whatever. But I'm so glad he's Matt Riddle and not Riddle. I'm so glad it's Austin Theory and not Theory. Like, that just to me is great. I hope eventually they get rid of the freaking and he can just be Seth Rollins, but baby steps. I've got Matt Riddle winning this thing. I think that, that opens up a lot more scenarios, especially if Seth Rollins wins the United States Championship on Monday night. So I think because Seth Rollins is challenging for the U.S. title, Matt Riddle is going to win the inside the fight pit at Extreme Rules. Who do you got?
I agree. I got Matt Riddle winning. And how about this? Brock Lesnar comes out to confront Daniel Cormier for a match of Crowd Jewel.
Oh, I like it. Yep. I love that idea. I think that's a great idea. Crowd is going to go ballistic for that.
Hey, Brock fought Cain Velasquez at Crowd Jewel.
He did.
I need a better outing for Cormier.
I think that's fine. Let's just hope that Daniel Cormier doesn't suffer the same fate as Cain Velasquez, because talk about a guy going off the deep end. Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
All right, what's next?
We've got a ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair defending her title against Bayley, leader of Damage Control. Who do you got in this one, Josh?
I'm going with Bianca. I have her retaining here. Would I be surprised if Bayley wins? No, but I just don't see right now it's the time for Bianca to lose.
Man, I must be rusty, or I must have gotten a newfound knowledge in this, because not so fast, my friend. I'm taking Bayley to win this thing.
Right.
We've disagreed more on our picks we have in a while, but it's great. I love it. I'm taking Bayley. I think if you don't put the title on Bayley now, it could stifle the momentum of Damage Control. What's that?
Ruin?
No, I didn't say ruin. I said it could put it could stifle a little bit. It could slow down some of what Damage Control is doing.
By what?
What's that?
By what?
Well, I just think, they're on the up and up. She's back. She's, her new character is what she's been doing is incredible. But I don't think I think the faces need to chase more right now than the heels do on Raw. So that's why I just think with the momentum that they have going on right now, will it kill them completely? No. But I think with what Bayley's been trying to do with pushing her agenda and stuff like that, it would be a bad time to not put the title on Bayley right now. I mean, you can make the argument they should have done it a month ago, but they wanted to wait, and that's fine. I've got Bayley winning this thing. I think she needs to win this thing right now to keep going with damage control, especially if what we had a question earlier about Toxic Attraction. I think if they want to do something between those two groups, because I think Toxic Attraction is coming to the main roster eventually. And hopefully pretty soon it'll be main roster. And like you said, Josh, end the brand split, because it's time. It is time to end the brand split. And they could do something really special with those two groups. But I've got Bayley winning this thing. I just think it's time for her to take the Raw Women's Championship. But
I got Bianca retaining here, but Alexa Bliss turns on Bianca after the match.
Well, and we're going to get to that here in just a little bit. So, all right. And now this is currently listed as the main event right now, which I think is very interesting. You've got the SmackDown Women's Championship. Liv Morgan defending her title against Ronda Rousey in an Extreme Rules match. This one's interesting to me. I'm going to say because it's an Extreme Rules match, I'm going to take Liv Morgan to retain.
Yep.
It's a great, I mean, if it was just a straight up wrestling match, I don't know, back at a pay-per-view. You've got Shayna Baszler lurking though. And I know that they've been trying to get her involved with Ronda Rousey. Thank goodness they don't have Maria Shafir, because oh my God, is she a disaster?
Yeah.
Oh God, that promo. Oh my, they may have to kick her out of the Horsewomen based on that promo alone. Yikes. Yeah. I haven't been on the show to talk about it, but oh my God, you know me. Okay, sorry. I'm never not going to pass up an opportunity to knock AEW. I've got Liv Morgan. Josh, who you got?
Yeah, I got Liv Morgan here too. Something has to come down with Mitchell McNeil's favorite wrestler coming into this scenario here, Charlotte Flair.
Woo! I was going to say, I hope you're not talking about his actual favorite wrestler.
The great irony of this pay-per-view being in Philly with Charlotte coming back would just be too good to pass up.
Yes.
And yes, hashtag Philly is trash. Shout out to you, Second City Sam.
Yes. Yeah. Well, go ahead, Josh. But I will say, we got to give credit where credit is due with the Eagles, man. They look good. Philly Eagles look good right now. So, but anyways, yeah. You got Liv Morgan?
Yeah, I got Liv Morgan. Yes.
Great. Okay, last question that we've got, Josh. There's been rumors. Is The Fiend back this Sunday?
The Fiend will be back on Monday.
Excellent. Do you think they run a promo like he's coming or something like that, to something to give the final clue like he's back, or watch out Raw or something like that?
Yeah, it'll probably be some vignette to get into Raw.
Gotcha. Well,
I will say the stuff with the QR codes has been inventive and stuff. I kind of like how they've been mapping this thing out.
Yeah, no, it's been really good. So could you possibly say they run a final QR code thing and then Alexa turns?
Possibly. If that's a hint, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. But either way, Josh, this is going to be a great pay-per-view. I'm really looking forward to Extreme Rules, as I do every year. And this should be a great show. So cool. Do you want to talk a little bit about NXT?
Nothing really came out the top of my head for NXT this week. I went over we went over the announced changes.
Right.
So we got that out of the way. But that's pretty much it for now. I guess it's time to
well, actually, and we don't have to if you don't want to. It is Impact Wrestling's biggest show of the year. Do you want to give some quick predictions for Bound for Glory?
Yes, let me pull up the card actually.
All right.
I'll speed through this.
It won't take long, but
yeah. All right. I can't believe this paper's still on a Friday. It's just insane. All right, so we have Brian Myers having an open challenge for his Impact Digital Media Championship. That's going to be on the pre-show. Thank God. We have the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match. It's a 20 wrestler intergender battle royal. The winner basically gets to fight any champion of their choosing at any time. So it's kind of their Money in the Bank match for the card. Right now, the participants are PCO, Rich Swann, Giselle Shaw, Heath, Pinder Gujar, Bobby Fish, Steve Backlund, Moose, Sammy Callahan, Johnny Swinger, Killer Kelly, Mamma Mia, Tasha Steeles, Savannah Evans. Yes, Killer Kelly. Yes. Tasha Steele, Savannah Evans, Joe Henry, and Eric Young. That should be a fun battle royal, actually. I'm looking forward to it. But as I said earlier, I'm going to go with Moose probably winning or Sammy Callahan. Those would be my 2 picks there. VXT, the team of Deanna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green, putting their Impact Knockouts World Tag Team titles on the line against Taya Valkyrie and Jessica Havoc. I have the Death Dolls here winning the tag titles there. We got Mia Yim against the GOAT, Mickie James. If Mickie James loses, she'll retire from in-ring competition. I have Mickie winning this match, actually. We have Mike Bailey, who's a tremendous wrestler, by the way, Brett Carter. He's really good. He's putting his X Division title on the line against Frankie Kazarian. Hey, by the way, Brett Carter, I find it interesting that one of the AEW originals can't find his way on television or even dark, but you can see him on Impact if you want. How embarrassing is that?
Oh.
Yeah, so I got Mike Bailey retaining in that match. That should be good. We have the Kingdom's Matt Taven and Mike Bennett putting their tag titles on the line against the Motor City Machine Guns. I got the Machine Guns winning that match and winning the titles there. Jordan Grace retaining over Masha Slamovich for the Knockouts World title. By the way, Masha Slamovich, very, very good in the ring. I like what she does. She's the talent to look out for. I'll say that. Jordan Grace is good too. I want to give $6 too.
You read.
Alyssa Stanberry says here, what's your thoughts on Sarah passed away? Yeah, we mentioned it a little earlier, Alyssa. It's very, very sad and unfortunate. I was a fan of hers. I covered a couple of her matches in NXT. I saw that she liked one of my transfers I did in the past, but I didn't have much interaction with her outside of that. But I loved her journey. I know she took some time off to focus on her family and stuff like that. But again, tomorrow's not guaranteed. It doesn't matter how old you are.
That's right.
And so you got to count your blessings, man. It's just really sad to see that. So my thoughts go out to her family and stuff.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. Other matches on the card. Oh, the main event. Josh Alexander and Eddie Edwards. That's the main event for this pay-per-view. It's going to be good. This will be the card is good. Again, like I said, Impact's been putting on some good shows. But the fact this pay-per-view is on Friday.
Yeah, right. All right.
By the way, Raven is going into the Hall of Fame for Impact this year, if anybody cares.
Great. Fantastic.
I really want to go with Eddie because I think he deserves that shot, but I think Josh Alexander is going to retain. That's going to be a barn burner. I will say that match tomorrow is going to be really good, but those are my predictions. No.
Excellent. That's gonna be a good show. But you know what is also a good show? The show we're about to deliver right now. Josh, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, I'm ready. It's my favorite part of the week every week. It is time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. And we're gonna get this thing started in a 3, a 2, a 1.
Beat your meat, 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 beat your meat.
I'm telling you, my time is right now. Right this minute, 2022. We're living it. My time is now. My time is right. God damn now.
And what intensity.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Josh, it is that time, that magical time of week. It is every week where we ask ourselves a very simple question. What the hell is wrong with AEW, aka what isn't wrong with AEW? And, I didn't get a chance to watch last week's show, but I understand it's one of the worst shows that this company has put on in its 3-year history. And so, of course, we're going to see how they follow it up this week. So, before we get into the shit, and I've got a long list of the shit this week, let's talk about the things that we did enjoy. There's a few things I did enjoy this week on Dynamite. Let's see. This is the first time we've seen MJF actually wrestle a match in like 4 months. So, and that was always been one of my concerns with MJF is obviously we know what he can do on the mic. He's by far the best part about AEW every single week. But, you're never quite sure of his in-ring abilities. He doesn't wrestle that often. No problem with his in-ring ability. Fine. All good.
Yep.
Good stuff. I think he did great stuff. Well, he did great. His opponent, I know you're not a huge fan of his opponent, but we'll get into that here in just a minute. But obviously great to see MJF back. Let's see. I thought the match got stale a little bit near the end, but it was fine. I thought a good match. I actually didn't mind the match with Jay Lethal and Darby Allin. I actually thought that was a good match. I think that Last Supper pin that Darby Allin does is actually pretty cool. Like, I think that's a good finisher for him. So I thought that was really good. The aftermath was terrible, which we'll get into in just a little bit. Okay. I don't know if I've publicly said this on this podcast. I've hinted at it at the Thoughts of Jericho, and I now have to say it, Josh, 100%. The Acclaimed has won me over. I am 150% on board with The Acclaimed. I want to see them every single week on my television as much as I want to see MJF. This National Scissoring Day celebration was freaking hilarious. It was incredible. It was fantastic. I thought everything about this was just tremendous. Their pop is like they might be the most over act in the company right now, minus MJF. Like that was fantastic. I thought it was great. And hey, we got a shout out.
What's up, Brian? How's it going,
Brian? Man? Hey, thanks for checking out the show, man. We appreciate you. Also, I think it's really cool if you know Anthony Bowen's story, like what he does, like kind of adding the element to this, kind of how he's felt disrespected and just his struggles throughout his life. To see him have the success is awesome.
Yeah,
Pastor's hilarious. Bowen's hilarious. Billy Gunn with them works. Like Scissor Me Daddy Ass is hilarious. I want to get your thoughts on this, Josh, because they say everybody loves The Acclaimed. I love The Acclaimed. I am all in on The Acclaimed. What do you think of The Acclaimed?
Well, one thing we will not be doing here on the Hoots podcasting is scissoring. We will not scissor each other.
We're not going to. You're not going to scissor me, Daddy.
No, not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, hey, listen.
There's something wrong. With that.
Hey, absolutely, absolutely.
I like what I'm saying from that too, and I've always said I'm always willing to give the benefit of the doubt, and I can change my stance on something I think that sucks initially. Kind of like how we were with the Times New Roman font. Like I've been enjoying a lot of Kit Sabian's work recently as well. So I'm happy for the guys. They're over. It's ironic that a sports entertainment gimmick actually is getting over in AEW. What does that tell you? But it's entertaining.
Well, I'll tell you what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean Jericho was right. Let's just get that out of the way. It just doesn't mean Jericho was right. Go ahead.
As much as I was enjoying the segment, I gotta be honest. The when Swerve came out, it was not a good look for him. Did not like the promo. Thought it came out very generic. To be honest with you, on the microphone, and yeah, everybody gets the whole analogy that a rock beats the scissors, but come on, that was corny. And then why does AEW always need to bring in fucking stooges and clowns when the good stuff is going on in a segment? Why can't we have one good segment just be what it is without stooges and clowns? Why we need Mark Sterling running his ass out there for what? What purpose?
Dude, he needs to join the Jericho Appreciation Society and just shut the fuck up, because we'll get into that in a second, but nobody in the JAS should be allowed to talk ever. And Mark Sterling should never be allowed to talk ever because he's an idiot.
Correct.
So,
anything else that you liked?
One other thing I will say, Josh, about the thing, I'm okay with AEW being renamed to Acclaimed every Wednesday and away from All Elite Wrestling because there is nothing elite about All Elite Wrestling. Yes, but Acclaimed every Wednesday, I'm all about that. Really quick, I actually didn't mind the Swerve promo, to be honest with you. It was generic, but it was fine. Decent match with Roosh and Hangman Page, nothing special. And I actually didn't mind the promo from Moxley afterwards. I thought that was actually fine. So, yeah. What is there anything that you liked from this week's show, Josh?
Like you said, I thought the opening match was fine. Thought it went way too long, to be honest with you. I just don't see Wheeler useless at MGS level. So the fact that you had to make it a competitive match as it was just wasn't it for me. I like the Wardlow and Brian Cage match, even though the Afterbirth Brawl was absolutely unnecessary and Joe Dutch at that. I agree too. I thought Darby Allin and Jay Lethal was fine. But again, that was just a match with no buildup. I honestly, with this show last night, it's a good wrestling matches. Yeah, that's not really saying much though on this program, to be honest with you. It's nothing new. It's nothing groundbreaking. And let's get into this shit because I gotta take the shit during this portion because there's just so much we gotta get to.
You go for it, my friend.
Before we get back to the programming and matches, oh God, I can't believe that we have to start here and I had to mention this to start this off.
All right,
I don't know if you heard this quote yet from Tony Khan with his most recent appearance on Busted Open Radio.
Oh no. No, I prefer to not listen to complete trash, but go ahead.
Yes, it's not audio clip. This is as expert I got here. In the article here, it says, in spite of these critiques, Tony Khan also made it clear that he has his eyes on the prize of Dave Meltzer's Booker of the Year, noting that he has 3 months left to take the honor home. Here's the quote. I'm going to make a full court press to get it. And I'm going to let people know right now. There's been a lot of build to a lot of this stuff, and the people have been telling me there hasn't. They're completely full of shit, or they're just not paying attention. So, Brother Carter, I guess me and you have not been paying attention to the bullshit that we've been seeing for the last 3 years.
Did that jackass really say that?
That is a legitimate quote.
Okay. Well, Josh, he's just proved what we've been saying for 3 years. He cares about the opinion of one man, a man that's never wrestled a match in his life. He's never been in the ring and gives the worst wrestling takes known to mankind. And this is who Tony puts on a pedestal. How is this freaking company still in business? Oh my God. How many times have people gone out there and bashed Meltzer? Like the leading people in our industry bashed Dave Meltzer and said this guy has no clue what he's talking about. And this inept clown has just officially said that's the guy he's trying to worship and trying to appease. Like, are you kidding me?
Can you tell me on what merit as Tony Khan qualified himself to even be considered a Booker of the Year for this particular year? Like, can you tell me one thing that he's done that necessitates that being a realistic option?
There's been nothing he has done. Listen, you know, a broken clock is right twice a day. You know, like every once in a while, he gets lucky because he has talent that knows what they're doing. But it has nothing to do with him as a booker. It has nothing to do with him as a CEO. It has nothing to do with them at all. What has he... Give me a storyline, Josh, this year that said, oh, I want to see this.
CM Punk and MJF, but even then, that rivalry was an indictment on the rest of their product, which we've been saying for the last 3 years. The fact that we can only find out one or two particular people every week to say that's the reason why we watch this show, it's a problem. Right now, it's just MJF and the Acclaim. That's it.
Right. It ain't. It ain't Punk. It ain't the Elite because they're away. And I know some people love the Elite. Fine. I think they're terrible. A lot of people like Moxley, but Moxley is one-dimensional. Hangman Page is one-dimensional. Like, what on besides MJF and the Acclaimed, who on their roster has any charisma? Any person?
Nobody.
Who's worth watching? No. And
Right.
I'll tell you, the other guy who is worth watching wasn't even on TV this week, and that's Ricky Starks. He wasn't on TV this week.
By the way, I got a question for you. Was this episode supposed to be an AEW anniversary or a Ring of Honor anniversary?
They spent more time with Ring of Honor. I put that in my notes. They spent more time with Ring of Honor than they did with AEW on their anniversary show. This is Tony Khan going, oh yeah, I bought ROH. I probably should do something with it. Yeah, sure. Why not? Like, what?
The guy just legitimately said that he's going to make a push that as if Dave Meltzer's Booker of the Year award means anything in real life.
You know what matters, Josh? People buying tickets to your event.
The guy's a fucking clown. He can't look outside of both sides of his ass.
Right. And you've seen the numbers, Josh. Ratings are down. Live attendance is down. It's when you go back to the same towns every time, people are going to be like, I've already seen your show. I don't need to see it again. Like, oh my God. Okay. You want to keep going with Dynamite this week?
Yeah, I keep going for this, okay?
You got it, brother. Take it.
All right. So we continue on here with women's trios match that it wouldn't be a AEW. This is the one tie-in of the anniversary of this show that I just thought it was fitting last night. Shitty officiating. It wouldn't be a Dynamite show without the dead corpse ref in there for a women's trios match that went all over the fucking place. By the way, can I ask you a question?
Please.
Is there anything more to Toni Storm than her looks and occasional offense in the ring? Can you recall one riveting promo? Is there a reason why I should care about Toni Storm?
No. And it's unfortunate too because she's talented. I like Toni Storm. She was great. You covered her more in NXT UK, and I remember you telling me she did a great job in NXT UK.
Yeah. I just find it funny for a girl that likes to take pot shots at Thunder Rosa and stuff like that. She's becoming third fiddle to Britt Baker and Paige and
let me talk about Paige here or Saraya.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. Did you hear the response she got last night, Josh?
Yes.
It's been 2 weeks, and now nobody cares about Saraya.
And who's at fault at that?
That would be Tony Khan.
Yes. Let's keep going here.
Yeah. But hey, bring it back. That was a great decision, Tony. Good job. Fucking idiot.
So we found out that there's an AEW Dynamite coming up to Cincinnati on a Tuesday due to the MLB playoffs. It's going to be on October 18th.
Fine.
So they decided to have a Dynamite on a Tuesday so they could give us a day off to try to clear our heads and try not have by the way, what the hell is wrong with AEW? It's not going anywhere. It doesn't matter when you push the shows back, Tony Khan. It's not going anywhere. We're good. If there's one wrestling podcast or wrestling media outlet here that's going to hold you accountable, it's this one right
Correct.
here.
Correct.
Okay? So we get Luchasaurus in the squash match. Nobody gave a shit.
Nope.
But by the time Christian Cage gets healed, is anybody going to care about him in Jungle Boy?
Nope.
Thank you. How about this? Let's go through this card
real quick. Do you care about Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy next week?
Absolutely not.
Great. Just making sure. Go ahead.
Absolutely not. Let's do this. Let's run down the cards for the action that's going down tomorrow, because I want to do this, and then we'll spend the last two parts of this segment going over Andrade and Sammy and Chris Jericho. So let's do this, okay? Here is the matches for Rampage and Battle of the Belts 4.
Great.
All right. Kicking us off, the Blackpool Cuckold Club with John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Useless taking on the team of Roosh and Private Party in a trios match. Do you give a shit or not?
Nope. Next.
Next. Anna Jay and Ty Mello taking on the team of Madison Rain and Sky Blue.
By the way, I hate Anna Jay and I hate Ty Conti. Anna Jay is getting so annoying that her waterfall game is going down. That's how bad she is. She's awful.
Oh, man. It's bad when waterfall regresses. By the way, speaking of regression, hi, Stokely Hathaway.
Hey, here's one for you. Here's regression for you, Josh. Claudio Castagnoli. When has he done of any relevance since joining AEW and winning the ROH championship?
Jack shit.
Correct.
How about this one, the third match in the card? Tony Nese and Josh Woods, against the Varsity Blondes.
The Varsity Blondes don't have Julia Hart. They're now useless. Next.
That's the main event of Elevation. All right. This is the main event for Rampage this week. The Death Triangle putting their AEW World Trio titles on the line against the Dark Order. Now, this match is supposed to honor the 2-year anniversary of Brody Lee's last match at AEW. All the significance, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Outside that match for the main event, which would probably be fine. Give me one good reason why I should watch this show. It's that match, right? That's it.
Yeah, because I think that's going to be a death match. I like Death Triangle. I think PAC should be competing for their world title and not in this useless secondary title that they have. He's main event talent. He's not that. But anyways, I think that's going to be a good match. But the rest of that, I couldn't give two flying flips about anything on Rampage this week.
How about this? Battle of the Belts 4. Did you watch Battle of the Belts 1, 2, or 3?
No.
I bet you the Star Wars prequels were better than 1, 2, 3 and Battle.
Wow. Dang.
Yeah,
all right now.
And yeah, maybe I'm sticking up for my childhood and I enjoyed the prequels, but that's just me. Maybe with the exception of Jar Jar Binks. I know Adam Daly would agree with that. Jar Jar Binks can go the fuck home, stay the fuck home. Yeah. All right, let's go on. FTR against the Gates of Agony for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles.
Who the hell are the Gates of Agony?
Do you remember a tag team that popped up with Tully Blanchard after he split from FTR?
No.
It's a long story. So basically, Tully is supposed to represent this new group with Tola, Leona, and Khan. And they linked up with Brian Cage down in this faction called the Embassy in Ring of Honor, now run by Prince Nana. By the way, no knock on Nana. Good dude. I enjoyed his work in the initial Ring of Honor. No issues with Prince. But Tony Khan has done jack shit to make me care about Ring of Honor or any of these new groups. Because every time we've done a Ring of Honor show since it's been under the AEW banner, AEW performers have been Ring of Honor performers that were in Ring of Honor before they came to AEW. I have no sense to care about this match. I love FTR, but who gives a fuck about these titles?
You know it's bad. And I wanted to bring this up too. You know it's bad when Tony Khan has ruined perhaps the best technical tag team in the world. Like you could make an argument for FTR being the best technical tag team in the world, and I would be okay with that. And Tony Khan has relegated them to sticking up for against people that I don't give two craps about at all.
How about this on TNT, by the way? This show's on TNT. We have Jade Cargill, the TBS Women's Champion, putting her title on the line against Willow Nightingale.
Willow Nightingale sucks. She's terrible. I don't care about her at all. She's the shit.
Why is the TBS champion defending her title on TNT?
Why is Jade Cargill not competing for their world title? She's undefeated.
Here's the main event of this program here. Pac against Trent Beretta. By the way, Pac is wrestling 2 shows tomorrow night on TNT.
Wow. Dang.
Pac against how about Pac against Trent Beretta for the AEW All Atlantic Championship?
All worthless champ. So what you're saying, Josh, is that in a show called Battle for the Belts, neither of this company's world titles are on the line.
Correct.
Okay, just making sure that in a promotion where titles are being defended, neither world title is on the line.
Correct.
Okay, just making sure. Just making sure. And this guy wants to be Booker. Well, actually, knowing that Meltzer will give him Book of the Year because he's on their payroll. So
let me go off on that really quick. You look at how Tony Khan handled the situation with CM Punk and the world title going into All Out and that hot potato bullshit with Jon Moxley, how he's handled the tag team division, how he's handled the power rankings, the stuff with the tournament going into the Grand Slam, the constant matches with Thunder Rosa, the state of the women's division. How's that qualify you to be the Booker of the Year?
It doesn't.
Where you had long stretches of program throughout this calendar year where you put more of an emphasis on New Japan talent and Ring of Honor talent than your own talent on the shows. How does that make you Booker of the Year?
Because you're on AEW, because Meltzer's on your payroll and you're here it is, Josh, because you're a mark. And you're a Mark Booker marking to a mark who is somehow managed to build this net, and even this guy has never wrestled a day in his life, has got this following. It makes no sense to me.
We have the 3-year anniversary of Dynamite last night. And I just thought last night was a very fitting story of AEW 3 years of where they are right now. A lot of people have had this question of what's one word or phrase that you describe the 3 years of AEW? I know what my 3 words are. What about you, Burker? How would you describe the state of AEW in one phrase or one word?
I think you and I are thinking of a similar phrase, but I'm going to go with overrated. Overrated. I mean, overrated, useless, lying. They lie to us every single day.
Correct.
Because and I think I know what your phrase is going to be, but it's over. I'm going to go with overrated. I'm going to go with overrated and liars because they promised it was going to be something different and it's not. And if it is different, it's bad. Those are the words I can think of. What are your words, Josh?
Bill of goods.
I knew you were going to say that.
Bill of goods. The fact that Chris Jericho is the only thing that matters through this promotion 3 years later is a problem. And I talked about this last week, and I'm glad you're here. We could talk about this more. And from the CM Punk media scrum to the fights with the Elite, how he handled Cody leaving AEW, the experiment of Impact Wrestling and Don Callis and the Forbidden Door, the way he handled Big Swole leaving AEW earlier this year, that was another big problem there.
Yep.
To this situation here with Andrade and Sammy Guevara is clear, cut, dry, and paste. A crystal clear vision of a program not building up to their own expectations or what they promised the audience when they started this promotion back in 2019. This show, AEW Dynamite, is nothing new to anything we've seen from Impact Wrestling or Ring of Honor in the last 15, 20 years. There's nothing that Tony Khan brings to the table that Dixie Carter hasn't already brought to the table in her run as an owner of wrestling promotion. As far as them being competition to WWE, the XFL is more of competition to the NFL than AEW is to the WWE.
Yep.
I'm not joking around. I'm serious about that.
Well, and we've talked about this before too, Josh. AEW had 3 years to get this going because, well, 2.5, because now that Triple H is taken over, WWE is going to take off. But we've talked about this before. Vince has basically handed Tony Khan every opportunity, given him talent, put on a subpar, a not as great program as he could have with the talent that he's got.
Yeah.
He gave Tony Khan every opportunity to beat him. And what happened? Khan failed every single time.
Yep. And here's the deal. Nothing has changed. Nothing's got better. And the quintessential moment of AEW for me was when MJF cut the "You Are a Fucking Mark" promo in Los Angeles the day after the Dynamite after Double or Nothing this year. Because it's true. Everything he said in that promo just illustrates everything that other people have mentioned about AEW since the beginning of this promotion. And it's just a shame that people put a blind eye to this shit, that people just sit around and just put in blind hope into this promotion and saying that, oh, we got the second coming of WCW. Oh, yeah, you have the second coming of WCW. Not the beginning, but the end. That's what you have right now. And what happened with Andrade and Sammy Guevara this week is fucking embarrassing. Embarrassing. You're just coming off the heels of a fight, coming out with your biggest show of the year. Now we're going into your anniversary show where earlier in the week where you have Chris Jericho saying that nobody knew anything about Cody Rhodes before AEW, which is a stupid fucking comment. Nobody in wrestling or entertainment believes the shit that comes out of their mouth more than Chris Jericho. So I can give him credit for that. But even then, that's fucking bullshit. And I'm glad Cody called him out about it on Instagram the other day. So I thought that was pretty cool. But going back to this, Brett Carter. So you mean to tell me that going into this show where Andrade's like, all right, you want to talk shit, keep going, we're going to fight. Then guess what happens, Brett Carter? We have a fight right before the show. And guess who gets sent home? Andrade. And then, so because you are such a fucking mark and kowtows and everything that Chris Jericho wants, not only you keep Sammy Guevara in the main event, but you have him get the pinfall victory to close out your anniversary show.
Well, here's the reason for that, Josh. Khan, in his, moronic wisdom, said, oh, I'm going to get heat from this. The crowd's chanting, fuck you, Sammy. Yeah, he's getting heat. Let's go. Yeah. You know what that's going to do? That is going to divide his locker room even more. Because, listen, and I'll be the first one to admit when I was wrong. You know how hard I was pushing for Sammy Guevara. And I was like, I believe in this guy. He's had some missteps, but he can recover for them. He can learn. He's got a character, blah, blah, blah. I can't defend him anymore, Josh. You can't defend Sammy Guevara anymore with just what a complete piece of shit that he is.
I call a spade a spade. I've been calling this out since day one.
Yep.
You got a 29-year-old here who acts like his shit though sneaky. He acts like he's still in high school, trying to be the jock. He's a douchebag. He's a cunt. He brings nothing to the table. And the fact that this is not only the first time Sammy Guevara has gotten to a fight backstage, people just seemingly forget that he had a brawl with Eddie Kingston a few weeks ago.
Right.
And every time he's been into a major program, there's been outside the ring issues attached to it. Ethan Page said it perfectly in a promo a few months ago. Him and Ty Mello are a HR nightmare waiting to happen. And him closing out that show last night is a spin in the face of the locker room that you had these talent meetings and say, oh, don't leak shit out to the dirt sheets. Don't spill out your drama onto social media, right? They just did this whole talent meeting after the scrum. And guess what happens? We have a fight and all this stuff going on Twitter. But guess what Tony Khan does? Nothing. He goes tells Ariel Hawani in an interview that, yeah, I'm not Bill Watts. The performers can handle their own things and act professionally.
It's your job.
Owner.
That's your job as the leader. Is to, like, if you want to play CEO and play whatever, it's your job as the one who's signing the checks. You're the leader.
Yeah.
You have got, because you know what's going to happen. Again, you see this time and time again. The good talent's going to walk away, and you're going to be left with a less than impact roster who just wants to do anything to get on television. The TV deal is going to go away because executives are going to look at this and go, okay, thanks, but no thanks, you know? Right. And then they're going to have to broadcast on Twitch or something like that.
And then guess what? All this is for just to continue to prop up Chris fucking Jericho.
Unbelievable.
Chris Jericho, who's the end-all be-all of AEW in 2022. If that doesn't tell you that this company is no different from TNA or Ring of Honor, you're watching through rose-colored glasses.
Or WCW near the end, like all those folks coming back. One other thing I'll say, Josh, before, because I would love to hear this speaking about Jericho. The fans are starting to notice it too. If you start to look at ratings, attendance figures, buy rates for pay-per-view, well, buy rates for pay-per-views, that's a whole other topic, but the fans are starting to notice too, and they're kind of going, Tony, what are you doing? This isn't good. So you know it's bad when their hardcore fan base, who is they would follow them off a cliff, is turning on them big time. Josh, I noticed that you have something in your hands there. What do you have there?
I have my Takamine acoustic guitar that I've had
great.
Since 18 years old. This is the first time that I pulled out my guitar here for a podcast, so I hope this audio comes in good. You'll let me know when I'm done playing this, but I was listening to some songs today, and I had an idea of what I want, the message I want to send out to not only Chris Jericho, but Tony Khan this week to conceptualize our thoughts on AEW this week. And in the spirit of what the hell's wrong with AEW this week, this is a little dedication to the song Losing My Religion by REM. And this is going to be my message, pretty simple one, to Chris Jericho and Tony Khan. Go home, you fucking Mark. Go. You Brad Michaels wanna be fucking homo looking asshole. Go home and stay home. Stay the fuck home.
Yeah. Bravo. Give this man a Grammy. That's fantastic. Bravo.
Oh, man.
Josh, do you have anything else?
I do actually.
Great.
Yeah. We did in the podcast last week, and I think it got some good reviews. And this will be our new sign off for what the hell is wrong with AEW. So, Brett Carr, you want to know the question?
I do. What is Josh? What the hell is wrong with AEW?
Yeah, we'll never know. We do know, but nobody else wants to say it. And that, folks, that is what the hell's wrong with AEW this week.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks, don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. All right then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. He's the Ocho, Josh.
How did that come in, by the way?
No, it's great. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Good job. I like it.
All right, guys. I know we're gonna put a ribbon on the bow in this fun podcast this week. As always, this has been episode 330 of the Hoots Podcast. You can follow yours truly at Twitter if you like, at the Hoots Podcast. I'm on Instagram at Josh Lopez Media. Make sure to support Brett Carr's work at DerekStoughton.com, at Derek Stoughton on Twitter, at Derico06. That's a Derico with a D. Check out his work at WrestlingRumors.net. As always, our podcast comes to you free of charge every single Thursday. Apple Podcast, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as you're watching this live. And remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. Brett Kerr, glad to have you back on this week.
Glad to be back, my friend.
Yes. For Brother Carter, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 330 of the Hoots Podcast. Enjoy the rules of Extreme and Bound for Glory this weekend, and we'll be here to recap it next week on the Hoots Podcast. Yes, sir.
It's 9-6.